We are all invested in the digital world, everyone, everywhere. There are very, very rare individuals who have no digital presence. That digital presence manifests itself as computers, smart devices, or clever phones. The more we use them, the more we rely on them, and the more information is stored on them. That means they are an absolute goldmine to the criminal. The old physical criminal world, yeah, they would mug you, punch you in the face, and run off with your wallet, or your watch, your jewelry, or your bag. In the digital world, it does not work like that. Your device is always connected to the internet, and because of that, it can be targeted at any time. The criminal is no longer in a dark alley. They can just reach out and steal money from your bank account, especially if you are unaware of their capabilities. The last 18 months has shown us that our reliance on the digital world for primary human communication has increased tenfold. Even before the pandemic, our use of the digital world was already increasing. The problem for elderly and retired is communication. Our children have flown the nest. They no longer live around us. They live in different suburbs, they live in different cities, and they live in different countries. I suppose we are lucky we do not have to worry about different planets. Our brothers and sisters, our fathers and mothers have similar issues. So here we have all embraced this wonderful new world. The more we use these digital systems, the more vulnerable we become. The more we embrace the convenience that these systems give us, the more vulnerable we become. Let's do something to rectify that issue. This podcast is based on questions we have been asked or areas of concern that have been identified by the elderly and retired when associating and associated with the digital world. The elderly, retired, and mature are either uneducated about the digital world, they have been misinformed about what can happen, and they are ignorant about the capabilities, proficiencies, and abilities of the cyber criminal. I am in no way saying that people are stupid. What I am saying is that we all need to be better informed on the capabilities and skills, and yes, they are skilled, of the cyber criminal. So sit back, watch and listen to this old person's take on protecting your stuff. This is what Roger has to say in this episode. So in the first two episodes of an old person's take on protecting your stuff podcast, we focused on two very important areas of digital hygiene and etiquette. One of them is passwords, unique passwords that are complex and have more than 12 characters. Now, I know that is difficult. So the best thing you can do for our space is get yourself a password manager. It doesn't matter how you use it, but a password manager allows you to have those features in place all of the time. Last episode, we looked at multi-factor authentication, which is an additional component to securing your services. Now, multi-factor authentication uses three areas. It uses the username, which is who you are. It uses the password, what you know, and it uses another one or a third component of something you own. And that something you own can be a phone, it can be a dongle, it can be capture. So anything that allows an additional component before someone gains access to your account. Yes, sometimes it's annoying. But what we need to look at this time is scamming. And one of the big problems we've got is because of our nature, because we've been forced into the situation of having to use digital device to practically do everything. If I want to get government services, I've got to go to MyGov, which is either on my device or it's on my laptop. It's a website that I have to go to. Now, the problem with all of this is because of the space that I'm talking about right now, and I'm not being nasty about it, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. This is purely the simplistic way that the bad guys look at the elderly, the retired, and the people who are in that space. One is the elderly are gullible, okay? According to them, We will believe anything that they tell us, and that then creates another problem. We are hugely scared of new technology and new systems. We don't like change, and we've been having this stuff forced on us all of the time. And because of that, it's really easy to scare someone, because most of our lives we've been law-abiding citizens. Okay, someone turns around to me and says the police are going to call on you. Okay, my heart rate goes up, I start sweating. That's a huge problem. But in the digital world, it becomes a bigger problem, because they use that language to scare you into doing things that you shouldn't be doing. In addition to that, as I said, we're all law-abiding citizens. What happens if I get a fine? Why am I being told that I need to do X? Okay, these are the ways the bad guys work to scam you out of money. And in addition to that, the elderly are really easy to panic. And as I said, I'm not trying to upset anybody here. It's just the way that the bad guys think. And because we are in that space where we go, oh yeah, the law wants me, or there's something at the post office, or I can't watch Netflix, they're going to make us panic. They're going to get us flustered. By doing that, we are now in a situation where we might do something silly. And that's what it's all about, getting you to do something absolutely silly. So if we can avoid that, that's great. And that's what we want. In addition to that, if they already have scammed you, and they've scammed you out of $1,000, or they've scammed you out of $20,000, you go into a list and they will come back and continuously try to scam you, because they have proved to themselves that you are an easy mark. You will listen to this stuff. You will take decisions based on information that you're receiving over that medium, and they won't listen to other people around them. We've come across a number of people who swear blindly, especially in the 60s and 70s space, swear blindly that the person they're talking to at the other end is some poor little kid that would benefit from the $1,000 I've just sent to them. So they are preying on us in a number of ways, because they make everything look like it's important to us. So let's call this how not to get scammed on the internet. And that way we can actually start thinking about some of the things that we need to worry about. So, general warning. Whenever you get a request from an SMS or a mobile phone, or they ring you up, then you have to ask some serious questions. Okay, so the first one is, do you know them? Do you know the organization they're working for? Or have they put a bit of a change in there? Or are they making themselves look like an organization that is actually going to be beneficial? The second thing you need to look at is, are they saying that you have a problem, or are they saying that you could win something? Now, although 99.9% of people will not listen to the Nigerian prince problem, there's a new one out there that says we've got a Nigerian astronaut who's on the space station and we need money to get him back. Now, that in today's world, yeah, is a bit more feasible than there's a Nigerian prince who's trying to give away his money. Another thing that they actually ask you to do is you've got to do something right now, or RFN as we say. Okay, now if you get an email that says you've got to do something within the next half hour, then ignore it, please, because all they are trying to do is lift that scare component and get you to do something silly. In addition to that, most of these scams, they don't accept money. So in other words, you can't send it to them on a bank account. You can't do a get on PayPal and send it to them. They are looking for gift cards or money transfers. Okay, so they are outside the normal checks and balances. Even to the case of you get someone telling you that you need to go to the bank, real life, and extract some money to give to them. Please do not. And even the banks are now looking at this, and they will ask you some very, very specific questions to make sure you're not being coerced into doing it. So as you can understand, these guys are really, really clever. And that then becomes something that we've got to keep in the back of our mind. In most cases, they are cleverer than all of us because they know how to press our buttons. And if they know how to press our buttons, we are guaranteed, unless we actually address it properly, to make a mistake, which is going to cause us a problem. So just some basics. Never click on links. Okay, it doesn't matter where it came from. If you are told that you need to go to Facebook, go to Facebook, but don't click on the link. If you are told that you need to download and install this application, don't. If you are get an SMS that says the basic one that we're seeing nowadays, your account at Netflix has run out and you need to click on this link to go to Netflix and put more money into it. You have a parcel at the post office, click this link so you don't get charged for it. All of those components, again, are designed to get you to do something silly. Now, just to take it a bit further, if you are buying and selling on websites, so we're talking about eBay and Amazon, there is a couple of things you need to put in mind. Amazon and eBay do not monitor these stores to the level of what people think they do. Now, there's a couple of very, very good documentaries about Amazon. Now, one of the things that most people do when they buy stuff off Amazon, if they buy stuff off eBay, is they look at the recommendations. Now, I suggest if you're going to buy something that has a substantial value, and I call substantial value anything over $50, that you then look at the recommendations and the testimonials on that site, because you will find that some of those testimonials, I'm selling a jug, there's a testimonial for a USB drive. Okay, what's the requirement? If you come across that, report it. Okay, now what you're doing is you're ignoring that thing because you're not going to buy that because there's now a testimonial that doesn't make any sense. And the only reason they use testimonials and the score ranking system is to get people at the top of the pile. If they are using fake testimonials or they're using fake reports, then eBay and Amazon come along and go, delete anything that's not associated with that account. And literally they can go from 4.5 stars to no stars because all of their recommendations are for other things. If it's too good to be true, never connect to it. Okay, there's no such thing as if they are, it looks too good. And as we say in the industry, if it looks too good, it's probably too good, which means it's got absolute crap. You've got to also remember that eBay and Amazon are platforms. Okay, they have, yes, they've got controls in place, and yes, they have capabilities in place, but I can set up an Amazon store, I can set up an eBay store really, really easily. And that then becomes something that they then try to monitor and manage properly. I've seen a number of scams that have come through eBay and Amazon. One was a friend of mine bought himself a carpet. Now the carpet on the rug was 2 meters by 1.8 meters, so it was practically square. So he put in his $320, and what he got was something that was 1.8 centimeters by 2 centimeters. So again, just be very aware of what these bastards can do. When if you're actually bidding on a website and you're bidding for something that you want, this includes eBay, this includes Amazon, it includes other bidding sites like Allbids, always start small. And in most of those places you can go, this is the amount of money I'm going to. So don't get dragged into the rabbit hole by going, I'm going to continue bidding on this thing until it gets really, really expensive for no reason. Never go outside the platform to complete a transaction. Now, if you do a transaction in eBay or Amazon, then when it falls apart, you can go back to eBay and Amazon and say, these people are crooks, give me my money back, and they will give you your money back. No problem. If you have taken the transaction to their website, then eBay and Amazon are no longer involved. Okay, it's now your problem, not their problem. And by doing that, it creates a problem for you, because if it's a criminal, you've just lost whatever money you've paid, and you will probably never get the product you pay for. Be very aware of account takeovers. If you've got an account on eBay or Amazon, put two-factor authentication in place. Okay, it's the only way to protect yourself against someone coming up and stealing your username and password. And one of the best things you can do, and you will hear me regularly say this, is trust no one. We have a really, really strange attitude when it comes to the digital world. requirement in the real world for someone to be trusted is we see who they are, we see facial expressions, micro expressions on their face. Any of those components give us build up a level of trust. So if I shake hands with someone and they're like this, then there's a very good chance I'm going to be very aware of whatever he says and whatever he does, unless there's a reason for it. Now, if you're in Malaysia, all men shake hands like that. So it's a problem, but you have to know that. In the digital world, there's no such ideas. Anything that they put on there can be literally stolen from somewhere else. And that's something you have to keep in the back of your mind if you are buying and selling stuff on eBay and Amazon. One of the big things that we have noticed is to build up that trust component, they will recommend you use an escrow account. Now, an escrow account is, this is the account, I'm buying something, I'm going to put the money into this account. And when they send me the information, the thing that I'm buying, I then tell these people to release it to those people. Great. So there's a system, and it's done in a number of ways in real life. You can find escrow accounts at banks, but in the digital world, there isn't any. So if someone says, okay, yeah, I'm buying $1,000 worth of X, put it into the escrow account, bang, it's already gone. Okay. And they don't really need to do anything else after that, but they will then play you along. Oh, did you put it in there? Obviously it didn't go in. Can you put another 1,000 in there? So they will play you along as well. So how do we stop some of these things from happening? Well, let's put a little basic information around it. Only shop with trusted sites. Now, those trusted sites are, yes, use the testimonial process, but check the testimonial process. See how many stars they've got and see how many stars they only got for that product, not for the whole environment or not from ones they've stolen. Trusted sites, that lovely little padlock in the browser window, good idea. Doesn't necessarily mean it's super secure, but it is a good reference point. But when it comes to paying a bill, as I said, don't go outside, but make sure that they have that payment security around that system as well. And you will see it down the bottom. Now, when it comes to some of those guarantees, just be very aware. They are not necessarily guarantees, because I can download the little icon that I can put underneath my thing that says that I'm guaranteed by whatever, trust, and I'm not. I'm just a little picture that they stick on the bottom of things. Be very aware of things like job offers, lotteries, beneficiaries. So, mum and dad died, or your uncle died, or your third removed cousin died. All right, no such animal. Beware of dating sites. Dating sites are notoriously bad for reeling people in, especially in the aged area. Charities. If you're going to give money to people, go to the charity website. Don't go through an email that someone has sent you. Again, these are all little things that you should be doing anyway. If it's a job offer, go to the job site. If it's a lottery, go to the lottery site. If it's a beneficiary, ignore it. If it's dating, go to the dating site. Okay. If it's a charity, go to the charity site. So what you're doing is you're proving that this stuff is actually coming from the legitimate people it's supposed to be coming from. There is one little area that probably doesn't have a big impact on retirees, and that is the invoice scam. Okay, because the bad guys can interject themselves into an email stream. So someone sent you an email that says this invoice needs to be paid. A couple of days later, you get another invoice that says, we've changed our banking details. Can you put this money into this account? Please don't. Always go back to what I call the point of truth. That point of truth is your knowledge about the situation. So in other words, pick up the phone and ring them. Okay, we just got an email from you with a new invoice on it. Have you changed your bank account? No. Okay, I will ignore that. Now you have got a problem because someone sent me an email. Okay, so it then means that you can pass it on. PayPal, if you're using payment systems, PayPal and whatever the seller address is, make sure they're the same identity. If they're not, stop the process. Okay, get the hell out of there. Avoid purchasing from social media platforms. Facebook has now got Marketplace. Just be very aware, because they're really proliferant on that site at the moment. So do's and don'ts. A couple of things you can do for yourself. Okay, if they're sending you SMSs, you can make it so you can only receive SMSs that come part of your contact process. And you can also do this with your email. If you have a contacts folder and all of your contacts are in there and they're the only people you actually talk to, you can set up your email application to only put systems, emails into the inbox that have a correlation in there. By doing that, everything else goes into the spam. So you also then need to check your spam regularly, just to make sure that there are people who might have sent you something, a new contact, a new a person who you're actually talking to. They may have sent you an email, and then if it is someone legitimate, you bring it up, you add them to your contacts, and that way in the next email that comes in, it's going to be honky-dory and everybody will be happy. When it comes to SMS, you can do that on your phone as well. There is a blocked phone call capability on all phones, which means that they just don't ring. And also, in addition to that, they don't actually put SMSs into your SMS folder as well. So you reduce the chances of getting these things. If there are capabilities that the bad guys have found ways around, but it needs to be something you think about. When it comes to information, just don't give it away, okay? Just be very wary if someone asks you. When someone rings you up and say, this is the ATO, Australian Taxation Office, okay, you have a debt of $2,000. I need to check your information. I have some security questions to ask you. What is your date of birth? You read out the date of birth on your system and I will tell you whether it's correct. I know we can't do that. In that case, we've got a problem and I'm not going to talk to you. Okay, so what you've done is you've taken it off them and bringing it back to you as the power in that conversation. And if we can't tell you, we can't tell you that. What's my address? Oh, we can't tell you that either. Sorry, I'm not going to give you that information. There's no such thing as actually doing something in a hurry on the internet. There is no reason to be immediate. So again, if they're asking for you to do that and you've got to do it today, tell them where to go and how to get there. Do talk to someone you trust. If you are having a problem with this, talk to someone. Now, we are quite happy to talk you through some of these problems. And if you want to, jump on the email, jump on our website, contact us through that. Always use two-factor authentication. Okay, it doesn't matter what the site is. If you have anything to do with money, if you have anything that has a capability that is required in the system, so I need Woolies and Coles, for instance. Okay, it records your credit card details. I need to put two-factor authentication on that. Passwords, yeah, I can't say much more about them apart from what we've already discussed in the first episode. Another thing just to remember is have a bit of discretion when it comes to the use of social media platforms. They are notoriously bad. Now, yeah, there are times when you will get an email from someone that you know that will say, you'll get a friend invite from someone you're already a friend with. And you may then get an email from them or a message from them or something from them that says, please ignore this because I've been hacked. Most of the time they haven't been hacked. What they have actually happened is they've had their account cloned, which is now a new account, and they're trying to then suck people in by getting them to join those people. Now, because we do social media in another episode, because security around social media is something you've got to keep your mind around. Now, what you don't want is people who are connecting to you to have access to everybody else who's connecting to you. So again, it comes down to the security of that organization. So in summary, when it comes to scammed and how to protect yourself, do you know them? Do you know the organization? Is there a problem or is there a prize? Do you have to do it right friggin' now? do they accept money, but you need to do it in gift cards or iCards or money transfer? You just got to keep in mind that these guys are really, really clever. Think of the old confidence trickster, okay? The one who used to be able to con women out of lots and lots of money in the old days, in the 20s and 30s. These people are very similar because they use the digital world to do that. They don't have to be as clever as they, because there's a lot of capability in the digital world that they don't have to worry about. So never click on links, never open applications, literally never tap on a link that's in an SMS, ever. Just get into the habit. That's an SMS. I've got it. It's got a link in it. Delete. Okay. Easiest thing you can do. And there's nobody who's going to send you a link that actually requires you to do something with it. Even your banks, okay, they will not send you an SMS with a link in it, okay? And that's very, very noticeable when you are talking to banks. Buying and selling on websites, never be in a hurry, okay? Because if you're in a hurry, you forget things. You are very, very vulnerable. If it's too good to be true, back off. They are not eBay and Amazon, they are not a seller. They are the platform that other sellers use. So when something happens, you can talk to the seller, but you can also talk to them at some level. If you have got a transaction going ahead and they ask you to go to their website, do not, because what you do by doing that is they can steal your credit card details. And in addition, there's no protection inside Amazon or eBay itself. Best thing you can worry about, trust no one. If you trust no one, then you're never going to get in a problem, because you are going to be questioning everything they're saying. There's no such thing as an escrow account. So keep that in the back of the mind. The moment someone says we can use an escrow account, this is what it is, don't, because there's no such animal on the planet. Be on the lookout for scams. So only shop with trusted sites. Check your payment security and the process there. If scams are coming in, they're going to be job offers, they're going to be lotteries, they're going to be beneficiaries, they're going to be dating, they're going to be charities, they're going to be repairs. Okay, and each one of those, it's urgent and you need to do something. We want your help because this is what's happening, and there's a few other things that you need to be aware of. Payment systems, just make sure that if you're buying something and you're using PayPal and they're using PayPal, that the actual information about the PayPal account and the system is the same, because you can have a Woolies account here and pay for it, which you can't pay with PayPal, and you can have a PayPal account here, and you can see that the organizations are totally different. And it's a static process that PayPal has in place to make sure that legitimate people have accounts. Do's and don'ts: block your unwanted calls, block your unwanted emails. Do not give information away under any circumstances unless you've tested it. Do not act immediately. There's no such thing as urgent. Do talk to someone you trust. As I said, talk to us. We're quite happy, and we're quite happy to help you. Use two-factor authentication on any account that has your credit card details ever. And also passwords, complex, unique, 12 characters. And also be very discreet on social media. So thank you very much. We will be back next episode. I hope you enjoy them. If you have anything to say, drop it into the comments. Quite happy to answer any questions. I think our email address and our phone number are on the page. And if they are, and you have a problem, call us. It's better to call us than make a fool of yourself and lose lots and lots of money and to be in a lot of problems. So thank you very much. We'll see you next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Earl Person's Take on Protecting Their Stuff podcast. I hope that you have some actionable information out of what we have been talking about today. If there are any questions, please throw them in the comments and I will get an answer to you as soon as possible. The solution to protecting your digital assets in retirement is complex. We are talking about systems and technology that we have been forced into using and have minimal control and understanding. In addition to being uneducated and uninformed about the digital world, the criminals are not. They are really, really clever at stealing shit from us. So you have to take into account that. More importantly, they will rob you blind if given the opportunity. And by not securing your crown jewels, you are giving them that opportunity. The link to the following resources can be found in the show notes. And if you're concerned about how secure you really are, we have a free, simple scorecard for retirees and for the elderly, for people who are pretty unaware about what security they need to do. All you have to do, jump on it, do the 24 questions, and they're simple, yes, no, maybe, okay. And once you've done that, you'll get a report in your email inbox that will allow you to look at it and go, these are the areas we need to worry about. Once completed, we will send you that personalized report. We'll probably follow it up with an email or maybe a phone number, but we don't collect phone numbers. So the only thing that we collect in that whole process, first name, last name, and email address. That's it, nothing else. So do that, and I can guarantee that you will look at it and go, oh, we need to do something about this. So thank you very much, and I will see you next episode.